The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What up, everybody? It's the week of September 10th, 2018. This is Might Be Sports. I'm Taylor Cooper. With me, as always, Kevin Reevey. What up, Kevin Reevey?
Hi, everybody.
CJ's here tonight. What up, CJ?
How's it going, guys?
CJ's been on a few shows, Might Be News, things like that. He's like a behind-the-scenes guy. He's my tech guy, you know? I go to Craig when I don't know how to do something on my computer, pretty much. And he helps me with the iTunes, which is like reading Braille to me. I'm not going to lie. It's ridiculous.
It's always a pain.
Oh, it's
Just
retarded.
make it that little bit difficult so not everyone can do it.
So get at us on mbnnetwork.com. It's real easy. mbnnetwork.com.
What was that again?
mbn.com. Oh, shit. mbnnetwork.com. Fuck. Yeah, get at us there. You can listen to the shows, all four of them. This happens to be Might Be Sports. Let's talk some sports. NFL's back, Kevin Reevey.
It's back.
How does it make you feel?
Really exciting. I was at the Eagles game, and
You were at the Eagles game?
yeah, that started a downward spiral for me, and that contributes to my current state. I'm not 100%. A
Yeah.
little under the weather, but I'm going to make it. Crazy game. It's just unreal. I thought I was going to be like coughing blood at the end of that game from screaming so hard.
Really?
You feel an obligation, especially the first game of the season, to
Just go
give
hard.
it your all,
Yeah.
and to really yell. And then
It's
at the end, when your throat hurts, you're like, well, that was dumb.
Yeah.
They couldn't hear me.
Well, at least they won.
Yeah, it was great.
At least they won. What was it like in the link when they did Philly special part? Duh.
That was
Oh,
unreal.
the crowd erupted.
My
Was it
first
nuts?
thought was that was the Brady play.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we really, that had to really stick it to him. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate the Patriots. I've kind of learned to hate them more. Like, it's just fun to be poor winners.
Right.
It's a lot of fun to be like, hey, we won. You lost. Sucks to be you.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a Saturday Night Live fake commercial thing in like the late 90s, I think, with Will Ferrell. And I can't remember the other guy, but it was a brilliant idea. It was a political campaign commercial, but after the election. The guy won, and he was giving it to the guy that lost. And he was like, I won. You lost, Fred Pete. Suck it. I got the job. You didn't. It's over.
Yeah.
What are you going to tell your kids? What are you going to tell your wife? That you're a loser? So, like, that's kind of how I feel now. It's just so much fun. Part of the victory celebration is just, saying how much it really must suck that Brady didn't catch that pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Did
they're losers.
Did you see that Dunkin' Donuts up in the Boston area was accidentally, they got a shipment, I guess, of Eagles championship cups or whatever. They were serving people out of the
Beautiful.
Eagles. Oh, my God.
Loved it.
So incredible.
But I love Boston, and I've been there once. It was amazing. I would love to go again. Fenway's great. I'm a huge Cheers fan. Cheers is the greatest show ever. Everything about Boston I really love. I enjoy the Patriots even. It's very weird. It didn't bother me that much that we lost to them in 2004. Or I should say the Eagles lost. I shouldn't be so much of a Homer fan. Although here we are
It's
again.
okay. It's okay.
It's happening all
Yeah,
over again.
It is what it is.
But yeah, I like the Patriots. I respect what they do. The whole cheating thing, the inflating of the footballs, I think that was such bullshit. It never happened. It couldn't have happened. It was all just, you know what it was? They inflated them to whatever they wanted. It was above or below the regulated thing. Like, not to get into this is years old, but what happened was, I think what happened, they deflated him to what Tom Brady wanted, and it was below the level.
Yeah.
Why did they do it? Because they realized the officials are just going through the motions. They're not actually checking this shit. And if they do and they find it, oh, crap. Oh, I guess we got to inflate them again. But what's the harm of deflating them? There's no penalty.
Yeah.
And if the officials are only checking once in a blue moon, you get away with it. And the officials are covering their asses saying they did check, but did they?
See, the thing with Deflategate for me is if for those of you who know me, I'm an avid Brady hater, and I it doesn't matter what I think about Deflategate. I personally agree with you that it's bullshit, and who the fuck cares? But I just love shitting on people about it. Like, yeah, Brady's a cheat. He's not he can't be the GOAT. He's a cheater. Belichick's a cheater. Blah, 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 blah. And it doesn't matter if I actually even believe myself, because I really don't. I think Brady's probably the greatest that we'll ever see. I mean, certainly he's won the most championships, so I guess I can't take that away from him, but fuck him.
Well, he destroyed his phone, so that's automatic
guilty. Guilty.
Yeah.
He's done.
Guilty.
He's done. He deserved that suspension. He deserved everything he got. Just fuck him.
Spike your phone. Guilty.
Can't win all the time, pretty boy. That's how I feel.
This segues nicely into what I wanted to talk about first, and that's, you love the shit on the Patriots.
Yes.
I love the shit on the Cowboys.
Yes, me too.
And specifically Dak Prescott.
Oh my God.
So we talked last week. It's so perfect that we talked last week about how Dak Prescott is
he shit the bed,
declining.
Yeah.
And everyone was hating on me, saying, like, I'm throwing out these tweets, and there was just like a barrage of Dak hate before the season started, and people start coming at me saying, what's up with the Dak hate out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Where's this coming from? And I just wanted to, like, a preemptive strike. So then, of course, he comes out, shits the bed.
Shit the bed.
And I was looking at the numbers, and I'm like, this is great. He's played exactly 33 games, and it feels like there's 3 different Daks, and the stats came out perfect. So I threw out a tweet, I think it was yesterday or the day before. It was so he's played 33 NFL games. The first 11, fantastic, almost unprecedented, 258 passing yards per game, 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The second 11 games, a little bit of a decline, 205 passing yards per game, but 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, still great. But you could see how it's starting to unravel a bit. The last 11, disaster. 188 passing yards per game, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I mean, I think it's clear. And, we talked about this last week. The media is just, they love the narrative that the Cowboys are going to be back.
I don't know why.
Dak Prescott is this great quarterback, but I'm seeing a scared guy in the pocket. The worst thing you could be as a quarterback is, and this affected Foles when he left Philly and tried to be a success with St. Louis. He couldn't make the quick decision.
Right.
And part of that is, obviously Prescott has a terrible offensive line. He's got nobody to throw to. That's a big contributing factor, but he needs to get rid of the ball.
Right. Yeah. So does Nick Foles. Nick Foles looked a little uncomfortable.
And that was an issue for Foles, too. And you know what? And this is going to sound like me being a homer, but I don't think Foles had that bad a game.
No, I don't think so either.
No. He had under 200 yards passing. I know he had an interception. You look at the interception, it was, I thought, a perfectly thrown pass. Totally, obviously, bad luck. Popped out of the receiver's hands.
Right.
And I thought he was really bringing it together towards the end. I think Foles has an issue with, and he said himself as much, with getting in a rhythm, whether it's a season rhythm or a game. And I think the fact this is the first game of the season, a lot riding on it, I think he just needed to get into that rhythm. He had a rhythm going in the playoffs that was just self-perpetuating.
Well, I think that the absence of Alshon Jeffrey means a lot to that offense. I think that our receiving core is still really good without him, but a lot less threatening. And I think Nelson Aguilar had a nice game. I mean, he seemed to be pretty active. He had a couple nice catches. Zach Ertz really didn't get involved too much until the end, I guess. But
he had some drops. He had kind of a rough game, but I mean, there's a lot on his shoulders right now. He was the number 1 guy out there, and the defense threw everything at him. I mean, I'm not gonna be too hard on him. And Mike Wallace was almost a non-factor, so he's got to do better moving forward. So, I mean, all in all, obviously the defense played amazing.
Right?
So,
yeah, they did. Let me ask you both a question about a different game. Jackie and I have been debating this since it happened. Is it more embarrassing for the Steelers or the Browns that they tied 21-21? Mind you, that this is the best start of the season for the Browns since 2004. They haven't won an opening game since 2004, and they still haven't.
I think it's more embarrassing for the Steelers.
Oh yeah, I think it's way more embarrassing for the Steelers. This was a nice turn of events for the Browns because I don't think it turns out anywhere near that close if the weather wasn't the way it was. It kind of worked out that way. Just crappy weather played into the Browns' hands. They're a defensive team. They kind of took away a little bit of the skill stuff that the Steelers do. Maybe made Roethlisberger a little bit off his game.
3 picks for
So-
Roethlisberger.
And again, he's one of those guys. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but through the first, I should have these stats on hand, but through the first 10 games of last season, I believe he had more interceptions than touchdowns thrown. And then he came on really strong towards the end. But maybe it was the first 8 games. But either way, we're talking at least half the season. He was average at best.
Yeah.
Maybe below average. So you throw in a tough weather game, first game of the season, the stars are not aligning for him in that regard.
He threw for 335 yards, 1 TD, 3 picks, 23 for 41. Tyrod Taylor, 15 for 40, 197 yards, 1 TD, 1 pick.
That's the big problem for Cleveland is that Hard Knocks made him look really good, which is crazy because when you look at Tyrod Taylor play a whole game, you realize, oh, shit, he can't throw a long, accurate pass.
Right.
He doesn't have the arm strength. He's an accurate quarterback in the way that Sam Bradford is a accurate quarterback. It's not real. He's those dink and dunk passes. That's not what you need from your quarterback. So when he needed to make those long throws, they weren't always there. And I thought Gordon had an amazing game. Landry was open a lot. If they have a quarterback, an accurate quarterback that can throw a deep, accurate ball, and I think they do, but he's not currently starting.
Yeah, I was about to
They're
say.
going to be a dangerous offensive team.
You think he's the one for them? You think it's it?
Well, yeah, because
Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, I think because it depends on how they do. They have to lose some games for Baker to come in, but
Or
Baker can
Tyrod
make
Taylor
those
has
throws
to, yeah.
that literally Tyrod Taylor cannot make. But now you've seen that where like the misses were clear, the receivers were open, and Taylor just missed them. And Baker Mayfield can make those passes. That's his bread and butter. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm a college football expert.
Right.
Self-renowned hater of minor league football. But, just from what I've seen on the highlights and from what people that know what they're talking about have said,
Oh,
I think he's ready to step up.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, we'll see what happens. I know they battled back. I mean, they scored 14 in the fourth quarter. Steelers put up nothing in the fourth quarter, And
I guarantee you Le'Veon Bell was rooting for the Browns.
Oh, yeah. See, and that's the thing. That's the other thing that makes this even more embarrassing for the Steelers is that they're in turmoil. Their star running back wants nothing to do with them. He was he was clubbing. He was down in Miami or something. I think I saw. Right?
Yeah, he was in Miami.
Like, doesn't give a shit. He's getting paid tons of money. What was it? His linemen were outing him, talking shit to the media, like, just sit out the whole season then. What do you think is going to happen? Are they going to trade him?
No, I don't think they will. It sets a bad precedent. I think the NFL is not going to tell the Steelers what to do because they're kind of in murky territory when it comes to anything involving potential collusion right now. But
True.
The NFL doesn't want them to do anything with him because, again, it sets a bad precedent. They let him kind of get his way. It's kind of like the Khalil Mack thing. And then, the Steelers, they owe it to themselves not to do anything here. Because then if they let him off the hook, somebody else is going to do it. It's going to snowball. It's not good. So Bell's got no leverage at all. He literally cannot get a new contract right now. That period is passed. He's holding out for nothing, essentially. The only thing I've heard he is maybe holding out 4, he can get a higher salary for this season. So
Yeah.
they can add some dollars to what that number is, which, again, they would never do. I don't know if that would fit under the salary cap or not. Doesn't make sense.
Right.
And he's already asking for, at the time, it was, I think, $6 million more than the current highest paid running back in the NFL per season. That's a little insane. So he wants a record number, not even a record number, but like a pretty high percentage over the next highest paid running back out there. He's still young. He's got some years left. He's also got a history of not giving a shit about whether he plays or not. I don't know how you can call him a team guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't seem like you
So
can
he seems
right
to
now.
be all about himself. Last year, he had a good season. Not all that impressed with his 4 yards per carry. I mean, it's one of those weird statistical things. If you knock it down one notch, if you take it to 3.9, it looks so much worse, right? It's weird how those things work. At 3.9, oh, crap, he didn't even average 4 yards a carry. It's essentially the same thing, but you know what I'm saying. It just doesn't, he didn't have that great a year on paper, in my mind. He almost looks like he's on a decline. But maybe that's because his head's not in it.
He doesn't want to be there.
I don't know. And, he's got a history of either, not caring, getting hurt, getting suspended. I don't know why you would pay a running back that kind of money anyway.
Yeah, they don't last long. Not anymore.
His replacement scored, 2 touchdowns?
Yeah,
had
he
over
didn't
100
do bad.
yards.
Yeah, he didn't do bad at all.
In the NFL, more and more, it seems like it's dependent on the offensive line.
Pretty much. It seems that way. I mean, that's why a lot of teams that have been successful, for sure. You mentioned Khalil Mack. That was a crazy turn of events, right? One day he's playing on the Raiders thinking he's like the star player. Next thing, he's traded to Chicago Bears. That's pretty insane. And he had a great game. He had a great game Sunday night. He had a 27-yard interception for a touchdown. I think he had a sack or 2, right?
Almost contributed to knocking Aaron Rodgers out of the game. I got Aaron Rodgers in both my fantasy leagues, and that was a tense moment.
Yeah.
I try not to, I don't want to be one of those guys who lets fantasy football rule their lives.
Oh,
But
dude, tell me about it right now.
It is annoying when, and there was so much talk about it in my one annoying, it's kind of a big money league, just enough to be uncomfortable. And it was a little annoying that we reached, me and my partner, he was dead set. We're getting Aaron Rodgers. We're not going to struggle a quarterback this year. So we reached way too early. And so it was just almost like it was karma, like that this would happen the first week. It's just annoying. And then he comes back and has a great game.
Yeah.
And just an unbelievable finish. And it was just, man, he really is that good.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. You look at that team. This is why I'm saying, like, the Dak Prescott stuff, you can't blame it on much more than, you can blame it on the offensive line, the skill position talent on the Cowboys, but still it comes down to Dak Prescott. Because look at Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. You take him away, I think that's one of the worst teams in football.
Right.
What do they have? As far as skill position players go,
Ezekiel Elliott.
not a whole
You're talking
lot.
about the Cowboys?
No, I'm talking about the Packers.
Oh, the Packers.
I mean,
yes.
at
I don't
least
even know
the
who they
Cowboys
play.
have
Yeah. At
Zeke
least
Elliott.
they have Zeke. Yeah.
So the Packers, it's not good.
No.
So, I mean, if you look at it that way,
Especially
Aaron
minus,
Rodgers is just on another level.
especially minus Jordy Nelson. I mean, I can't even think of anybody else that fucking plays for the Packers right now.
Hi, Montgomery. I mean, it's a bunch of guys that because you might have picked them up on fantasy.
I do have somebody.
at
I
some
have
point or
Jamal
another.
Williams, who got me 4 points in week 1. Listen, you want to talk about fantasy and needing to feel like it doesn't rule your life? I love fantasy football. I'm in a league with a bunch of my buddies. We talk shit, and it's just fun. It's for bragging rights, whatever. And I've been in the mix the past few years. I won once, maybe twice. Did I win one? I definitely won
Wait,
one.
you're the one guy who didn't win their league last year?
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't win my league.
I thought
last
everybody
year.
won their league last year.
No.
What?
I didn't even make the playoffs
No, yeah.
last year. It was horrendous. But I'm usually in the mix. I'm always there on draft night. And this year, I auto draft. It did. I couldn't make it. I was just running behind. Couldn't do it. I got shitted on. My team, complete trash. Complete trash. I got Derek Carr, Christian McCaffrey, this Jay Williams guy from the Packers for 4 points, Michael Thomas from the Saints, who had a great game, Demaryius Thomas. I don't even know who my tight end is, but he plays for the Browns. Not good. Devin Funches from Carolina.
I can't even think who the Browns tight end is right now.
I don't know, but I got Robbie Gould, and I got the Texans defense. Listen, I always roll with 2 defenses in fantasy. This is how I get down. I always get 2 defenses in fantasy because in case somebody's, if they're playing somebody on your team, you can't do that, right? You got to make sure you got defenses on lock because defenses can make or break your season. That's how I feel. People fuck with me on the draft night because I get nice defenses. I fuck with the nice defense. I reach out early for defense because that's an automatic. First of all, that's an automatic points as soon as the fucking game starts. If your defense is nice, you don't lose points. You get more points. It's a bonus 10. You're working backwards if you've got a shit-ass defense. You know what I mean? You're working backwards. Why not just keep the 10 points and add to it if you got a nice-ass defense?
All I can think is that there's nothing more boring than fantasy football defense talk.
Yeah.
We already stepped in it with fantasy football talk.
Yo.
Now we're talking defense strategy.
Oh, my team is garbage.
It's going to be all right.
I have the Texans defense and the Bears defense. I went out and picked up the Bears defense because it didn't auto draft me 2 defenses. I went as soon as I got Khalil Mack, I was like, I'll take it. It worked out pretty good for me last week. What did they do? I forget. I didn't even look because I was mad. Still mad. See, they got me 20 points. I don't even know what kind of scoring I get, but the shit's nice because you start with 10. They added 10.
Speaking of tennis, are we going to save that? Are we going to save the Serena Williams stuff for after the break? Or are we going to?
No, we can get into it for a minute.
Get into it?
Yeah.
I got some hot takes. I just want to yell.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. We can talk about it. Serena Williams. Fuck it. We're going to talk about it after break. Hey, it's Taylor Cooper.
Co-host Kev.
And I'm co-host Dan. I have to bring something up that's been bugging the shit out of me about your wedding.
What?
You've known me a long time.
Yeah.
All right?
You've known both of us a long time.
Long
You've
time.
known
We're on
Kev
the-
a long time.
Fucking radio show together.
Yeah,
We are your brothers.
correct.
Why the fuck was I in the corner?
Yo,
Both of us.
We
Yo.
were the furthest away from the bar. We were the furthest away from the food. It was like, I'm just going to put you guys in the corner because I don't want to see you.
check out Might Be News on mbnnetwork.com. Also, SoundCloud and iTunes. New episodes every Monday. Welcome back to Might Be Sports. I'm Taylor Cooper with Kevin Reevy and CJ. What's up,
How's
guys?
it going?
So, Serena Williams, U.S. Open Finals.
Poor Serena.
She lost. And during it, she had a very emotional outbreak because the
Too emotional.
2 very emotional outbreaks. And the ref, I guess, called illegal coaching, which is a fucking thing in tennis, I guess. Coaches aren't allowed to coach in tennis during a tennis match, which is stupid.
All that insider tennis jargon.
What in the
Give
hell?
them an advantage.
What the hell? What kind of rule is that? I don't understand. Why even have a coach? Like, I get it. Why don't you just call him a trainer? Because that's what the fuck he is. He's not a coach. He's a trainer. That's stupid to me.
I don't understand why, but if I had to,
This is the
figure it
first
out
time
on
I've
the
ever
fly.
heard of this.
I would think to avoid kind of the annoying scenario of the player constantly just talking to someone in the stands.
Yeah,
Like it's weird aesthetically. It's not good for TV.
they're not allowed to. They're not even allowed to talk when they're on break, right? Or are they? Is that considered coaching?
No,
Like when they're
not,
like in between games and shit, they're not allowed to talk to anybody, right?
well, no, they're not on the court if they're not playing.
Right.
So
Yeah, I guess so. They can't even like. Wow.
so they could technically walk through and go talk to the coach, but no one's really going to do that either because you have to push through all these people that are there to see you. You're not going to make it to your coaching time.
Wow.
I don't know if that doesn't seem like that's allowed either. Oh wait, time out. I'm gonna go to the stands real quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think that should be allowed at all. I just think it's stupid. It's a stupid thing. So anyway, the guy called her for that, deducted a point, and she freaked out, said, called him a thief and
She broke her racket.
broke her racket.
And that was violation 2.
Yeah. And I think when she called him a thief is when he took a game from her. Isn't that what happened?
So
He took a point and then he took a game.
yeah, so the racket was for the coaching. She broke the racket,
Yeah.
got in trouble again, and then started
Yelling at him.
yelling at him. And then that was the third violation.
So, I mean, I love Serena. First of all, I love Serena Williams. I think that she's the greatest tennis player of this generation, 1,000%. Like, I can't, certainly female. I mean,
Right.
holy shit, like dominance, pure dominance, right? I think she could have handled this better. Right? I mean, I watched it and it was intense. It was an intense thing. Like, I didn't watch the match. I watched so obviously
The
there's highlights everywhere.
But I think what she did after the match made
Made up for it completely.
yeah, when she everyone starts booing that she lost, and the poor girl that won thought they were booing her,
Yeah.
and Serena goes, no, just
Yeah.
stop booing.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely very, very graceful in that regard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm not saying that she was wrong for acting the way that she did, because she clearly thought that dude was in the wrong. Can you imagine being that guy?
Well, I think tennis thought he was in the wrong since he got fired.
He got fired. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of saying Serena was right.
I think this is outrageous. The whole story is outrageous to me. I think that it comes down like the U.S. Open. You think about it, like, I'm not a tennis guy, right?
Yeah.
But like, I know that the U.S. Open is obviously a very, very fucking big deal, and everybody's dying for Serena Williams to win since she had her kid, and I am like, I want to see her succeed,
Yeah,
and everybody thinks it's going to happen, like, and it was crazy everything I saw about it, but the girl she was playing outplayed her straight up. She was outplaying her, and I don't know, man. She deserved to win.
You know what? I've been sitting back waiting
Yeah.
because I kind of wanted like my Stephen A. Smith moment that you see on what's his show, First Take.
First Take.
Or like Skip Bayless will talk, or Max Kellerman, and then the camera shifts to Stephen A. He does his little like pause, and like his head might be down, and then he'll like blink his eyes very intently, and he'll be like, "I've got some things to say."
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
There's so many things I need to say here. This is insane. Like, it's literally insane. Where we can't, what's being argued right now is that Serena's being held to a different standard than the male athletes.
Isn't she though? Is she? Because I don't like I said, I don't follow tennis. I don't see many people like freaking out on the judge like that.
But how is that the only argument? Like, that's the argument, and that's the only one. And we're supposed to totally ignore the mistakes she made. And even in her post-game press conference, where she gets teary-eyed, she vaguely and briefly mentions that she, made some mistakes, could have done some things differently. And then she goes on a huge rant about women's rights and starts crying, and the whole room gives her like a standing ovation. It's like this moment. Wait, she did break the rules, though. It
Right.
was within his jurisdiction or his ability to call those penalties. Maybe he wouldn't have called them on a male player or not. I don't think that's as relevant as the fact that she made a mistake. And is her argument that that everyone should get away with it? That she should be able to abuse the officials just like male players apparently do? That everyone should just be able to abuse the officials and you should throw rackets? And this is a great way to be a role model, by the way. It's all dumb. It's all stupid. We can't. She's one of the untouchables.
Yeah.
You can't criticize her. She's right. She's inherently right. She has to be because she's been put on this pedestal and it's all political. Like sports are now political. You cannot criticize her. I can't remember the last time she was criticized. You can't criticize her, period. It doesn't matter if she did anything wrong.
But
the guy got fired from his job
he did
for
get
doing
fired.
his job. Why? Because you upset the queen. It's just weird. Why can't there be nuance? Why can't the official have, maybe he went a little too overboard, but you know what? She also did some things wrong. And that be that.
yeah, but she if she never got that first violation, she would have never got the other two because they were a direct result of that coaching from the stands violation.
This stupid rule, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a stupid rule. Now, you mentioned the whole, like, she did get really, she went with the whole women's rights thing. And I mean, there's a very clear difference between what women get paid in sports and what men get paid in sports. That is because of popularity. That's because of ticket sales. That's because of TV rights. That's because of all that shit. It's all media, right? But the best example that I can think of how fucked up all this shit is USA soccer, women's soccer, right? These girls go out, win fucking everything. They win everything, and they play on worse fields. They play on turf, not grass. No matter what, everywhere. And they get paid a fraction of what these loser dude USA soccer guys make.
Yeah.
It's nutty. It's nutty.
But what's the argument, though? Like, are you arguing that it should be different? They should get paid
yes,
more?
Definitely.
But money is never given over should. Like, they deserve more. Well, is the money there? Where's the money coming from?
Right. I see. I agree. I understand that. I definitely get that. Like I said, with the I don't know. I don't know how popular the WNBA is as opposed to, like, I don't know the numbers, and maybe I'll find that out.
WNBA
We'll
is
talk about
failing.
That again. Failing.
Women's soccer, that's already failed multiple times. Outside of the World Cup, Women's World Cup is incredibly exciting, incredibly entertaining. I love it.
Yeah.
I would never watch a women's soccer game. I mean, I would never really watch a regular soccer game, but it just doesn't appeal to me. And why does, like, just saying that out loud, it's like, oh, that's a mean thing to say. Why? Everyone else is voting with their wallet the exact same way.
It's true. I don't.
But it's this weird, again, politics. You're not allowed really to say that the WNBA is an awful product. It's horrible basketball. Women's soccer is an awful product.
See,
because
I feel
there's
like,
a better version.
I feel like
unfortunately, it's the male version.
I feel like it's an awful product because it's not a product at all. Like, yeah. I don't even remember the last time that there was a MLS game, a women's game on. I don't even remember the last time I could just flip the channel and see a WNBA game. And I feel like there's not enough invested in it to make it a profitable thing. Like,
that's
everything
exactly
has to start.
what I think with it, because there is because if you're a WNBA player, you have another job,
Right?
Because this can't cover your bills and everything. So what incentive does that have to pull the best of the best?
Right.
When they go, I'm getting paid nothing, I'm going to have to get another job. And
I'm a mom.
And then I have to dedicate all this time to training,
Right.
practice, and everything else. they need to. Someone just needs to invest in it so they can attract the best of them to make it.
Would
a
you invest
sports
your own money though? I don't think anybody would invest in that when it's a proven loser. And again, it sounds harsh to say,
but it's never had a chance to succeed.
It's never had a chance to succeed.
Women's sports just do not. You can't just say, oh well, they don't perform at the same level as men's sports because they haven't had the opportunity. Unfortunately, it comes down to physical ability. Typically, the highest level of sports, they make the most money. That has the highest revenue. There's not really a market for minor league baseball.
Right.
No other football league has been able to compete with the NFL. On and on and on. Nobody wants to watch D-League basketball. They want to see the best
Right.
of the best.
Right.
It's called the Gatorade League now.
It is. It's the G League.
What did I call it?
D-League.
D-League.
Did I
yeah.
call it the
It's
D-League?
G League now.
It was the
Gatorade
development league. It always sounded
So dumb.
I'm okay with that. I love. I mean, I'm a pure capitalist, so I kind of like that kind of thing. It makes sense. Why not bring in some more money? But also, the D League always sounded like I don't like a
Just flunkies.
yeah. You're not failing, but no one cares about you either.
Absolute
Like,
trash.
you're not exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that D. D
'Cause
is like the worst.
They skipped B and C. Like they just went straight to D. Like you guys are garbage. Like borderline fuck ups.
The only time a D was awesome was in college when I got to keep my credits with a D. And man, this biology class was rough. So rough. I was struggling big time, and I needed these credits so bad. Screw the GPA. I needed the D to keep the credits. If you fail, you lose the credits. So it like all came down. Like I had like a 61 in the class, and it all came down to the final. And it's that brutal period where you take the final and it takes a few days or a week. And this is like, we're talking 2002. So it's like the internet is kind of just figuring out what the hell it is. And it's not quite there yet. You had to go to the class and like look up, like it would be posted on the board, like on like the glass. And I went up there and I got like a 60 on the final. It's like, yes, that is the greatest news. So amazing. That's the greatest D I ever gotten. That was just as good as an A. But yeah, so that's a dumb tangent. Again, I'm under the weather. These aren't going to be 8s and 9s this week. Not that they are any other week, but yeah, I'm just going to cruise at 6. And it's just going to be the way it is.
It's all right.
The hell are we talking about? Serena Williams.
Serena Williams
Yeah.
and women's
Hey,
rights.
You know what? I don't like Serena Williams. Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to even say that? It's ridiculous. You can say you don't like Tom Brady. You can't say you don't like Serena Williams. I don't like Serena Williams. I don't like rooting for, I'm not that big a fan of tennis, but I don't like rooting for the greatest. I guess I loved Michael Jordan, but I was a dumb kid, and you're kind of born into that.
Well, and that's a way different sport. That's a way different atmosphere. The NBA Finals is 2 weeks long,
Yeah.
as opposed to a morning tennis match. You know what I mean? So like it's a whole different thing. I don't know. I think we'll have to agree to disagree on the women's sports because I really feel like they just don't invest enough in it. I think that there's potential there. Women's college basketball is pretty popular. I mean, that gets out there. I don't know. I think obviously you're not going to see
The answer's obvious, but we gloss over it because it doesn't feel right.
Well, no. It's
there
not
are
that,
things women are better at than men.
Yes.
Plenty of things. And we don't argue those things. We don't say, well, why are there not more male interior decorators?
right.
More
Maybe there is. Maybe
male-
there is.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
never know.
I
there
don't know.
can't be. But why are there not more straight male fashion designers? Probably not a lot of those. We don't seem to care all that much. But when it comes to athletics and it's like a biological thing, the average male is better at sports than the average female. We just can't accept it because it feels so wrong. But let's just let that be okay.
Well, here's my thing with that is that obviously they should be separated as far as women's soccer, men's soccer, right? Like there is a natural increase in performance there. I agree.
And if there was a
But
female that proved that she was good enough to climb those ranks, she should be allowed to play with the men, because the men don't have like that like a ceiling to bust through. Like, because there's no Superman. There's not like super male, female. So female, they shouldn't have this, I guess you would call like a glass ceiling where, no, you can only play against the females. What if they're better? What if they can compete with the males? Totally cool with that.
yeah.
I'm not looking
definitely.
at like, not even like the male-female distinction, just saying who are the best athletes. And I think, unfortunately, I think golf is really the only sport where it would lend itself to that, where it could be a realistic possibility, because there's less of those brute strength things that come into play.
That's true.
I don't know.
You're not going to see many like insane, like slam dunk athletic plays in the WNBA. There is a distinction there. Soccer, not so much, because that's running, that's kicking a ball, that's that. I feel like that's one of those sports that's like along the lines of golf, where they can both do it pretty much equally. Like some of those girls are fast, dude, just like the dudes. And I personally, I'm not really a soccer guy, but I've gone to a couple MLS games, and we went to a exhibition match between the U.S. women's team and Colombia, I think it was. And it was wildly entertaining. It was wildly entertaining the whole way through. These girls pushed themselves, and I don't know. I'm not saying they should be paid as much or more as male athletes, because like you said, capitalism, blah, blah, blah. Bud Light is sponsoring the NFL, not the WNBA. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's mega bucks. And the NHL has problems because they're not making as much as they should be. Those players aren't making as much. And because it's the same thing. It's not as saturated, it's not as produced, it's not as out there as everything else is. You can struggle to find an NHL game. I mean, not as hard as you struggle to find a WNBA game, but you know what I'm saying? It's these guys, they got the concussions, the CTE shit, just like the football players, and they can't pay them because the NHL doesn't make money like the NFL does. I was reading a story about that a while ago where it's this crazy thing. Like those guys take nasty hits, yeah. Not to mention they fist fight each other in the middle of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, man. Like it's a crazy thing.
Well, I think, we're talking about it, there was more opportunity. I think tennis provides a very level, fair playing field for if there was a market where the female sport would overtake the male sport. I think tennis is perfectly primed for that. But what have we learned? I mean, it just hasn't yet. I think it certainly has had the opportunity to. It's still not.
Men's tennis
still brings in more money.
Women's tennis is
So it's
is very
just-
popular too.
It becomes this like
A lot of it because of Serena Williams and Venus Williams.
it's an experiment that's played out for a very, very long time. And I think we just refuse to accept the results. But regardless, I've got a little more to say on this subject, but I think it's best for the Goat of the Week segment. I'm gonna slide it in there. So I'm gonna save the rest of what I had to say for that.
So we'll move on to a little bit of college football then.
Minor league football.
Your favorite.
I mean, it's you got to give it to minor league football. I mean, they have the best minor league in all of sports.
Let me ask you a question.
It's cute.
Do you think that college athletes should be paid?
I go back and forth on this so much. I don't think so. I look at it from a fan's perspective. Fans all the time have no idea what they really want. I see fans all the time side with players. I'll never understand why. I mean, again, it's like a feeling thing. You don't want to side with the billionaire owner, but the billionaire owner is putting your team together. The less he pays for the players, the better his team is going to be.
Well, in
if
college,
he's got talent. You want these guys to be hurting a little bit because if they start making more and more money, the owner can't pay them. They're playing for another team. You got to be with the owners. Now, in college football, same thing. I don't know how money is going to mess up the whole thing, but it just seems like it's not going to be as good a product for the fans.
my thing with it is and I guess the most popular argument is during college basketball. I hear the most of this, right? Most of these kids are on a full ride. Not all of them, but quite a few of them certainly have some sort of a financial curve on their tuition because they're on these teams. That's an education that I couldn't afford. You know what I mean? Like they're getting ahead in something.
Yeah, that seems like payment to me. And then some of them, even the real good ones, they also get like meal plans included with they do not spend $1 to go.
Right. Not to mention, a lot of them are living on campus too. Like
once again,
they're not
something
even
that's
paying,
free,
right?
With
right.
their with them playing.
They're not even paying to live where they're living, or to get where they're going, or to do what they're fucking doing. Really.
Yeah. So
like,
if you add it all together, that's technically a payment, and then it's just like anything else. So the top of the top that are going,
they
to
get
school,
more.
Yeah, they're getting more of a full ride. The next level down might not get the free meal plan,
right?
But they still get the full tuition, and they still get the dorm, and so on and so on down the line.
Right. So I don't know if they should put dollars and cents to it because they're already getting something out of it. I mean, they're getting a lot out of it, realistically.
Yeah, and it's a trash argument that these guys are going to cash in after school. It's such a small, almost microscopic, non-existent percentage that go on to be well-paid professional athletes. But regardless, there is an aspect of that not a whole lot of people talk about, and that's if you're a big college football town, you don't need to go pro. Really, I mean, your job prospects, if you graduate and you were the star quarterback or you did really well, if you're one of those guys that is complaining about your likeness being used and your team cashing in on you, you should really be able to cash in on yourself when you're done.
Yeah, I agree.
Because is there value in your name or is there not? So it's either you're getting paid by the school, or how about you go get it yourself? I mean, you're going to graduate, you're going to get some job offers. You should.
Yeah, you're going to have a degree. There's probably a big alumni association that will pretty much
put you in there right away.
Yeah, that will be like, oh, this person did amazing things. We might as well offer them a job.
A couple of years from now, when like Christian Hackenberg is out of the league, and like
he'll be selling insurance, making $1 million a year.
Yeah,
on the About Us section of Erie Insurance.
Yeah.
So I guarantee it, and it's good. That's great.
Yeah. So the current top 10 in college football, of course, Alabama number 1. They play bum ass teams all year pretty much, except for like three games. But I still love Alabama. Clemson number 2, Georgia 3, Ohio State 4, Oklahoma 5, Wisconsin, Auburn, Notre Dame, Stanford number 9, and Washington number 10. Penn State is on the cusp at 11, followed by LSU, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, and TCU to round out your top 15. So,
can I do a quick tangent real quick?
Yeah.
Let me just say this. I never understood this with college sports. I will never understand it. Both football and basketball. Let's say you're far and away the best team in the country. Let's say Alabama at their peak, Duke at their peak. Certain years where they're on an unbelievable run, undefeated. There might be some teams with a couple losses below them, but clearly the consensus number 1 team in the nation. They lose one game, and inevitably, basketball and football, the team drops. Might just be a spot, might be a few spots. I don't understand how that math works. Can't you build up imaginary points Again, we're talking about like a ceiling where you can no longer go higher. Like when a male athlete can't go to like an alien league, they can only compete with men. The number one team can't go higher. They can't go 0.
Right.
But if they're the best and they continue to beat up on teams and get better and better and better, they're building up a resume better than anybody else's. There should be some imaginary leeway points that they're getting. They lose one game. All right, you still built up an incredible resume. We're not going to knock you too far off this.
No.
How I don't understand how that works.
See, how they rank them is the Associated Press poll. So it's just a bunch of people that just says, oh, I think Alabama's number 1, or I think Clemson's number 2, or I think so-and-so's this.
Yeah.
And then they just put all that shit together.
Yeah, I'm saying they're all dumb. I don't think they're thinking
I
of it
think
the
by
right
the
way.
end of it, it's dumb. I think by the end of the season, it's really dumb.
Sports, my point is, sports, you're going to lose.
I
No
don't
matter
think-
how good you are, you're going to lose. Very few teams in any sport have gone undefeated.
I don't think that strength of schedule comes into things as often as it should in college football. For example, Alabama just beat Arkansas State. Like, they trashed them. Like, who the fuck is who goes there? You know what I mean? Arkansas State 57-7. You know, you're the number 1 team in the whole nation. They should be playing somebody else in the top 10 or at least in the top 25 every week. I feel like if you're the top, you've got to be tested in order to, because if Alabama loses a game, it'll be against the LSU or it'll be against the Auburn or a Georgia. You know what I mean? Some semi-powerhouse in the SEC will have and could take them out anytime. I think that if certainly if you're in the top, let's just say for the sake of argument, top 4 or 5, I think that college football, they shouldn't schedule as, I don't know, they should tweak it somehow to where they can move games around, move teams around, make them play the best teams. Like, there's no reason in the world
Yeah, that would be great.
that Alabama should be playing Arkansas State week 2. There's no reason in the world that they should. Who the fuck did they play in the first game? Louisville. Okay, so that's not bad. Louisville's a decent squad. They still smashed them 51-14.
My question is, why does a loss against a great team early in the season mean less than late in the season? If it's the same loss, how are those losses different? They're judged differently because, again, everyone's being collectively, they're all choosing to be dumb about this and how they score these teams. And I get it, like, oh, well, you know, they went on a run at the end of the year. They're better than they were at the beginning. But it's also a manipulation of the schedule.
Well, now they have this dumb every week towards the end because they have this stupid 4-game playoff or 4-team playoff that it's the top, you know what I mean? Top 8. Who's in? You see it every 2 seconds on ESPN towards the end of the season during the holidays. Who's in? And they made a huge production out of it. So I feel like for the sake of drama, for the sake of keeping people like us involved, if Alabama loses to Auburn week 2, it means less than when it's really, 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 really important that they don't lose to Auburn. You know what I mean? And I think that it's for show. I think it's for show. I think the whole thing is. But
Yeah, I just see, like, again, when you take feelings out of it and you're just like enter that stuff into a computer, it doesn't compute. So
I think the divisions in college football kind of fuck shit up. I think that, like, SEC, Big Ten, there's too many. There's
whenever you have
too
rankings
much.
of any sport, or you have grades like figure skating, or
The NFL, the Eagles
judges.
don't just play the NFC East all year.
Yeah.
Like the you know what I mean? I feel like Alabama should be coming to play Penn State. I feel like Michigan should be playing UCLA. You know, I think that Stanford, if you're in the top 25, you should be playing people at least in the fucking top 50. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Arkansas State.
Well, let me just say, I am rooting for Florida State this year.
You're a Florida State fan this year, Craig?
Well, they're doing decals on their helmet for Burt Reynolds since he was a player.
Oh.
So I've really no investment or really going to actually watch a college football game, but I'll just pick a random team for a random reason, and that's my pick this season for that reason.
Nice. It's good reason.
There's not a whole lot of Burts.
R.I.P. Burt Reynolds.
We should be. Yeah, that's the thing. We're losing too many Burts.
Bro,
We just lost the biggest Burt. Hopefully this spurs people on to start naming their kids Burt. I don't want to lose Burt. I like Burt.
I'm on week 7 looking at the schedule. Week 8.
And again, I'm sick. Don't judge me. I know that was a dumb comment.
I haven't seen Alabama play one top 25 team yet. I'm in week 9. What's up with that? I'm a Nick Saban guy. You know what I mean? I like Nick Saban. Certainly, I like him more in college. He's a monster, and he's an asshole. And I love to see that.
You like Nick Saban. You love Serena Williams. Go Warriors.
I like go Warriors. No, I mean, I like the Warriors, I guess.
Of course you do.
But I don't like the Patriots. Get that shit.
Well, you see Cleveland's taking down the LeBron mural.
Look at this thing. I'm on their thing. They play Mississippi State and Auburn. Those are the only two ranked teams they play all year. Well, that are ranked currently. But none of these teams are going to be good. Tennessee might make it there at some point. The Citadel? Who the fuck is that? Unbelievable. I don't know. I'm a Nick Saban guy. It feels unfair, right? It feels stupid. Why would you watch that all year? Say that you're the best if you're playing a bunch of fucking G League college football teams.
It's a sport where it doesn't matter who wins, apparently. It's about making these dumb bowl games, and then we know who's going to be in it at the end. It's going to come down to these few teams, and their brilliant plan to try to mix things up is have the literal smallest tournament you could possibly have with 4 teams to make it the least interesting scenario you can have. Oh, why is college basketball so important that 1 month everybody's filling out a bracket? Because it's an amazing tournament. It's so entertaining. But they won't do it. Why? Because money talks.
Right.
So, and maybe it's right or wrong. I was just saying, I'm a pure capitalist, go for the money grab. But again, the way I vote, that's why I don't watch it. Not for me. I don't see like the sporting angle of that. If I have a favorite team and they seem to have no chance to win a national championship,
who cares?
Why would I watch?
Right.
Now, that's why I'm a huge IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania football fan, because we're just, D2 powerhouses. So, no,
you and Jackie are the
I don't
same
watch
alumni.
D1.
Is that where you went?
I'm a huge D2 fan.
You went to
I went to IUP.
Yeah, that's where she went.
Now, I become an IUP fan once a year when sometimes they get into they got a weird tournament thing with basketball. I don't think it's an actual tournament. It's some weird championship. I don't know. But
some like interleague thing.
yeah, again, so I didn't go to a D1 school, so maybe that contributes. But whatever. I'm done talking about it. About minor league football.
Let's do go to the week, and then we'll get out of here. My go to the week, the GOAT of the week, Aaron Rodgers for sure. Got taken out of the game, very dramatic fashion. Came out and threw 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He was 20 for 30, 286 yards, 3 TDs, all in the fourth quarter. They were down 20-0. And they won by 1 point against the division rival, Chicago Bears, with newly acquired Khalil Mack, who, like I said earlier, had a great game. Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT of the week for me.
He's the whole team.
He's
so
the team.
Crazy
like
how good
that,
he is.
It was crazy.
The only way to stop him is to hurt him.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things he does tend to run around a little bit. He loves to throw outside the pocket. That can get him in trouble. Yeah, but he's just great at every throw.
Those
at every
Hail
aspect
Marys
of the game.
are insane that he does. Insane. Just the one was like 75-yard touchdown pass. 2 minutes left in the game. 2 minutes, some minutes, something like that. Craziness. Again, to whoever caught it, I'm sure it was a great guy. But like Aaron Rodgers, go to the week. That's crazy. Like nobody was expecting. First of all, I don't think anybody was expecting him to go out like that, and then them to be getting slaughtered 20-0. Just for him to come back in the fourth quarter and just ball out. Go to the week. What do you got?
My go to the week, I'm going to throw it back. John McEnroe. He said, was it 2 years ago? Was it last year? 2 years ago? Somewhere around there. He got in a lot of trouble for saying Serena Williams was. This is how we're so dumb. They asked him, is she the best tennis player of all time? Well, yeah, the best female tennis player of all time. Well, whoa. Why you got to qualify it like that? And he said something like she wouldn't be able to beat the 300th best tennis player in the world.
Oh, I remember him saying that, yeah.
And which is absolutely unequivocally correct. That's a true statement. It's you get in trouble now for saying true statements. Like, this is true. And what's so wrong with that? I mean, it's just, again, it feels wrong.
Wait a minute.
It's just he's qualifying it. It's
you don't think that she could beat the top 300 dudes?
No, here's why. If you think about it like this, the best way I've described it is golf. Like a lot of guys casually play golf, maybe more than they do tennis. Of course, they do more than they do play tennis. So I golf all the time, and there's guys I play with sometimes. Like, oh, holy shit, he's one of the best players I've ever played with or seen. This guy makes every shot. If he went on tour, there'd be 5,000 guys better than him.
Yeah.
Or you can play with amazing guys.
But Serena Williams isn't like
Tennis
just
is-
some girl that you play with at a park.
Tennis is one of those sports, what I'm saying, the top 300, they're amazing. Like the 300th guy,
I suppose, yeah, okay.
talent-wise, you'd watch him play tennis in person. Like, holy shit, this guy's one of the best in the world, because he is.
You don't think she'd make it to the top 100?
I think she would
Not a
definitely make
chance.
it in there. Yeah.
I think she'd make it to the top 50, bro.
Yeah.
No, it's just not. It's not true. Now, again, this isn't even me saying it. These are the guys that actually know what they're talking about. When you break it down and you actually have to do the math on it, again, like you punch in these things into a computer and see if it computes. The guys that know what they're talking about, and you actually look at the people on the list. You say, could she beat him? And you watch these guys play. These people that know that the game, they have to answer no, she couldn't, because it's a different thing. It's just a different athletic level.
See, but tennis
cannot be done.
Tennis is run by a bunch of dudes, though, and I mean it's a pretty exclusive little club. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
We're talking
300.
about men versus women at their peak.
I want to see Serena Williams in a no holds barred, just straight up tournament of dudes.
It would never happen because she would lose really badly.
I want to see it.
You actually don't want to see it.
I need
it
to
would
see
be
it.
embarrassing.
I need to see it to believe it. I think she'd make it in the top 100.
All you need to do is watch her play, like watch a women's match, and then watch a men's match between two guys that aren't very good, and you'll see stuff like, oh yeah, she would never be able to compete with that. She wouldn't be able to do this. She wouldn't be able to do that. There's a big difference between us at golf and tennis and the 300th best tennis player or golfer in the world. There's not a big difference between the 300th best tennis player and the best tennis player in the world. Like, as far as pure talent goes, that small difference makes all the difference on the professional tour. But when you're talking like tennis ability, they're both incredible athletes. It comes down to the smallest percentage. Again, makes all the difference in the reason why that number one guy would beat the 300 guy every time. But when we're switching genders now, it's a totally different ballgame. It's just, this is men at the height of their physical abilities. And the best female at the height of her physical abilities. Just we're not talking averages anymore. Talking about the best against the best. It wouldn't work out. It wouldn't match up. You have to go way, 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 way down the list.
It has worked. Billie Jean King.
Yeah. There's some controversy with that,
Not
though.
really,
He was old. He was like way past his prime when they played that match. She was young. But she won.
She did, and
she won.
He would have probably been in the top 100 tennis players.
I would agree with that.
I don't think you can even compare
even still at that
eras.
age.
Yeah.
Where we're at now, where
It's a different
physical
game.
capabilities is stretched to about as far as it possibly can be. I don't see how you can bridge that gap between male and female.
but Serena is a physical specimen. I mean, she's different. You can clearly see that her versus a lot of her opponents. She overpowers these women
Oh, yeah.
with
Right.
with brute strength that I think that
So her you're saying that her number one skill would be completely nullified because that's just par for the course for the men.
well, no, I'm saying that would put her closer to being even with some of these stars in the men. I do believe I truly believe that. I've watched quite a few Serena Williams matches. I mean, I find her very, very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think most of the time I like watching women's tennis over men's tennis.
I do, yeah.
But and again, I don't want to stray too far for the point. I just wanted to again bring up McEnroe now
The fact that he had the balls to say it, definitely.
because
I disagree.
I think it deserves to be brought up again because he got a raw deal then. I think the official's getting a bit of a raw deal now, but maybe he did have a little bit too itchy a trigger finger with all that stuff with Serena. But looking back on it now, what McEnroe said, it's like, why did we do that? These things become these weird arguments when we can't just have an honest conversation because the feelings get into it. And
I think if McEnroe would have said she couldn't beat the top 100, I think that people would have taken that better
yeah,
than to add another 200 onto that. I feel like it's just
but
a
I
salty
really
wound.
do think we can't get over that number too, like that 300. It seems so big, but I'm telling you,
Oh, no.
In
I
these
agree with
kind of
you.
sports.
Oh, totally. I mean, you think about it, like how many actual players are in the NFL as opposed to college football? Like, I get it. I understand exactly what you're saying. Because, like, just you're looking at a smaller sample size than, I mean, you think about in the world. Like, that's how many people play professional tennis, whatever, in the world. Like, whatever. But,
I don't think there are 300 that play professional tennis.
yeah, maybe not. But I think she'd make it to the top 100. I do. And like Mortal Kombat style tennis.
crazy. That's so crazy.
Straight
yeah.
bugging. I think that she would smash some dudes. I definitely do.
You want to believe it.
I
but it's
really do.
just not
You know
true.
what? I really want to believe that.
Well, yeah, it would be great if it was possible. And when
I want to see it.
when I heard him say
I'm
that
saying
too,
top 25 she should get into.
when I heard
we
him
need
make
to,
the statement,
we need to make this happen.
when I heard him make that quote,
I wanted to play that ref. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to start with. I wanted to play that ref first and just trash that dude, and then see where she goes from there. Maybe a aged Andre Agassi or Pete Sampras.
but it's dumb. It doesn't prove anything.
Well, good. I'm just talking about for starters.
Yeah.
And then she plays these, until she makes it all the way to the best. Whoever.
It comes down to 300 sounds harsh, and I remember it did sound harsh at the time, and I'm thinking about it. Well, shoot, and this is what everyone should have done. Let's look into this. And then people actually did the research, and then I Googled it, which, they do all the legwork, so I can Google it, and
Yeah.
it's easy access. And I'm reading the numbers, the stats, the information that says, no, she couldn't be the 300 best player in the world. She wouldn't be able to do it. It's just science, and we just reject the science. 'Cause it feels bad. It's like, let's not do that so much. Let's just stop and think for a minute, and not let emotions get into it. Just because 300 sounds like a big number, sometimes we just don't know what we're talking about.
But emotion's going to be into it because some of these players might not train as hard as they would
Straight up.
for another player because they're going to be cocky with it.
They
and
might
then
not play with as much raw emotion.
Yeah.
at that particular game or match or whatever.
They might not prepare how they normally would this or that, which would give her the win, which would technically still be the win.
She might just win by straight up intimidating the shit out of a dude. Just come out there and just grill him.
It might be like that boxing match where the two guys were the bell rings and the
he
one
just
guy
rolled out.
Yeah, he just got out of the ring and left.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's interesting though that the match never happened? There was so much talk about that, and she never put her money where her mouth is. And it's not up to her to, but I know she milked that for everything it was worth.
Oh, for sure.
Again, she became a hero again from all that stuff, but McEnroe was thrown under the bus, but she had the opportunity. She could have had a charity match.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to because
wasn't
she knows,
that around the time that she was getting ready to have a baby though? Wasn't that around the same time?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's
I think it was like
time.
There's
she was out
always
for a
going to
little
be the
while.
opportunity.
Yeah.
And she'll never take it. She knows. She won't say it. I don't know why she won't say it.
I want to see it.
I want to see it.
I don't want to. It's going to be terrible.
It's got to happen.
Yeah.
Pay per view. I would pay to see that.
Whatever. We're beating a dead
Pay-per-view
horse on
tennis.
this one.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
You know
That's
where
probably
I
gonna happen a
stand.
lot on this show. But
Love
it's
Tom
okay.
Brady, hates Serena Williams.
That's it. Yo, she should play Tom Brady. Just play Tom Brady. They should play each other in each other's sports, you know? Just fuck it. Yo, Serena Williams tackled the shit out of somebody in the NFL. I believe it. She can do anything she puts her mind to. Girl power.
Equal opportunity here.
All right. That wraps up another week of Might Be Sports. Check out everything on mbnnetwork.com. We got Might Be News, Relatable Radio, this, and Novak and Franz show. Doing big things. Kevin Reevey, great show, man.
Yeah, again, wasn't at 100%. I can't exactly put my entire stamp of approval on this one.
That's okay. No, you did.
Kind of fumbling over my words even then, but yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just gotta put it all out there.
Fuck it.
You just gotta keep going.
Yeah. Every week is a new week.
Every week is a new week.
Every single week.
Is that true though? Every week is a
single
new
week.
week. Wow, you're smart.
Profound, baby.
Every week.
Every single
Crazy.
week.
I never thought about that.
Fresh start.
So next week,
Next
is
week,
that going to be a new week?
all new. Until we go on break.
Then it'll be
I'm just taking it as
Then
like
it'll be repeats.
I'm taking it as like a global statement.
Like a global oh, sure.
like hey,
Emotionally, you
Hey,
can wipe
Stevie.
the slate clean once a week.
Stevie, you struck out in the big game, but you know what every week is? A new week there, champ.
Brand spanking new week.
So don't worry. Everybody out there having a rough week, you know what next week is?
Try it again.
New week.
New week next week. CJ, thanks for being here, bud.
Thank you for having
I had a
me.
bad show, and then right at the end, totally redeemed myself.
So
I
we're starting
probably
a
didn't.
tennis league outside.
Yeah, tennis league. We got tennis courts where we're at.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite Serena Williams here to play you in tennis, Kevin Reevey.
Give me let me train.
I'm going to DM her on Twitter right now.
Let me train for a year, and I'll be the 300th best female tennis player under the age 12 in the country. Bring it.
That
All
sounds
right.
like a challenge.
All right, guys. Great show. We'll see you guys next week. Brand new week.